If you can't reach for the sky, aim a little lower. Our quote of the day for Friday, a little bit of a spin with comedy. Let's get right to the video. Chainlink versus Bitcoin. We're also going to look at Chainlink versus the US dollar on the bigger time frame charts, the weekly, the daily. We're going to look at, when to be able to convert your Bitcoin to altcoins, specific levels, and just a general rule of thumb on how to do that. So if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Follow us on Patreon, Telegram for private Telegram. Just more content than what you see here on YouTube. And if you want more help in the bull run, that's what that's for. So looking at Chainlink BTC, uptrend the first, 900 plus days, right? Let's take a measured move. This uptrend lasted 756 days from down here. It goes actually about 900 if you go back from early little peaks. But, a major uptrend like that is often going to be led into a little bit of a cool off. And I think Chainlink cool off has been a bit of an understatement, right? So here we're in a downtrend, right? Until proven otherwise. And you might argue, well, what if Chainlink's kind of already broken out? You can arbitrarily draw that from different peaks, right? But let's not give it any slack, right? Let's pretend that this is the line, right? And we could, start to redraw this every now and again, but that's just going to make it more difficult. So we want a decisive break of a trend line. So even if you were to draw it from back here, right? Look up here, right? If we were to draw it from this point to this point, because you have to have two touch points to even draw a trend line, right? So there's your first touch point after this one. And so still, fake breakout, back down. Fake breakout, back down. Or is this a fake breakout again? Or could we potentially hold the line this time? Well, let's pretend that, the line is up here. We want to make Chainlink be certain that it's ready to break out again against Bitcoin. So that is why we've drawn it up here. So now let's put it back on traditional candles and see if we can extrapolate any more data out of here. What do we want to look for? If you're holding Bitcoin and you want to convert it over to Link, one of my most asked questions is, how do you know when to convert, your Bitcoin over to Link? You can also convert your Link to Ethereum. If you, for some reason, you don't like Bitcoin, Link ETH also has a pair. So compare your altcoins to Bitcoin, compare your altcoins to Ethereum, and you can do very well going forward. Narrow your focus down to 5 to 10 coins max. If you're looking at more than that, you're really doing yourself an injustice. You need to be hyper focused on a handful of charts. That way you can really know if something is going on. So having said that, really little side note, when do we look for a possible conversion of our Bitcoin to Link, right? So step one, right? Obviously break this downtrend with a decisive move. How do we know when that move would be? Well, your highs here, right? You want to flip this and look for a higher high. That would be the first step in a sign of a potential reversing of a downtrend. So that would be step one. But before that, we probably going to need to put in a higher low. So how about that would be step one, right? Here's your low, right? We've already put that in. So if we can reverse this, immediate downtrend before this said low, then that would be a, crack in the door, right? We might be able to come back up here, take out this trend line, and then put in a higher high. That's what we have to do to reverse a trend. We have a low, a high. You want to put in a higher low and then a higher high. That's exactly how we're going to do it. It's not by any trend line. It's by definition, to reverse a trend, you must have a higher high and a higher low. We don't have either yet, right? We have a low set. We have a high set. So now we have half of the equation. We need the other half. We need a higher low right there, right? And then we need a higher high. We need to take out that. So let's clean it up a little bit and look at what those levels might be. You can even put it on closing prices, and you can see right there, we really need to clear 4,400 sats, 4,400 Satoshis, and we really get, moving again, potentially, right? Look at this kind of zone here. Look at all these touch points in here, right? And the more you interact with a zone or a level, the stronger that zone or level is. So we really need to break back in here, right? We haven't done it much over the past, year or so, right? Looking all the way back to 2022, right? Only one little brief fleeting moment in there. So that is really our level to start to think about converting, your Bitcoin over to Chainlink. Until then, right, you're just playing with fire. Could this be a good opportunity? Could this be the new higher low right here? Of course, right? But TA is meant to improve your odds, and your odds are not, with you until you start to see the rules. The rules are, you have to take out that high, you have to put in a higher low. So that's how we're going to step up, go up the stairs, right? And we're looking for higher low, higher high, plain and simple, right? So that is about how you need to be doing it. Now, let's say you have some other things, right? Because that's kind of a naked chart. What if we need some more help? Well, you can look at moving averages. The bigger ones, the better to overcome, to, make these big macro shifts in the market, right? That we've been in, almost a 2-year downtrend, right, against Bitcoin. So you're not putting your link into Bitcoin just yet, right? Or Bitcoin into link just yet, right? Yeah, otherwise you're losing value. You want to be gaining value against Bitcoin, right? So that's the point of holding altcoins in the first place. You should be gaining on Bitcoin. Otherwise, why not just hold Bitcoin, right? Right. So the 200 week, right there, 3,600 sats. That might should set off some alarms, right? If you're taking over the 200 week, right? That would also likely mean we've put in a higher low, hopefully, or hopefully don't put in a lower low first. That would be a long movement, right? We're probably looking at another year plus if we're going to put in another low, right? So, fingers crossed there that Link does not put any lower low against Bitcoin. So wait at least first until we see a low, and then look at your moving averages. You need those sorted out. Right now we're sorted, pretty tangled up here, right? No clear signs. So that's what you need to be waiting for. Like, look at the last bull run, right? When Link was doing very well against Bitcoin, right? We're having our moving averages least to greatest, the 8, the 14, 21, right? That's how you need to be looking. You have plenty of time. Right now, I would say at best case, we're somewhere in this area, right? We're just tangled up trying to find our footing, right? Putting in, look at this low, look at this higher low, and then you come back up and you take out this high, right? Look at this. This is exactly what we just looked at, right? This is what we're waiting on. We're waiting on a higher low, sort out the moving averages, get above. You want your price action above all of your moving averages. You want to be technically higher than all we've been moving, right? That's the point of moving averages. You can know by definition if you're more bullish or more bearish than previous prices, right? That's the exact point of moving averages, right? So now let's fast forward again to today, right? And look at our downtrend and realize where we are. We're trying to put in a higher low. That is when you can start, right? You shouldn't just be doing 100% one way or another, right? You start to get back into, your Bitcoin back into Link if and when the signs of a reversal are there. And now hopefully you know a little bit more than you did before you started watching the video, right? So we're looking for the 200 week, right? The 21 week in the yellow. That would be a good sign, but you could still see that we did that before, right? So I would wait until that massive, the trend line is broken that we initially looked at. That high would be really your safest level. As long as we've put in a higher low, anywhere higher than 2,300 sats right in here, right? So that's what we're kind of looking for. Ideally, a reversal somewhere in here, come back up, right? Take out this high, and then here's your long enter for, taking all of your, or at least the majority of your Bitcoin at this point, right? You can put some of it in here if you think that's the new low, right? And then, your clear level, once this high is closed, right? You need to look at a close. That closing high right there, 43.50. So if you see prices closing above 43.50 and you want to increase your Bitcoin stack, changing it over to Link at that point would be the safest bet. And you can use this same kind of rules for the rest of your alts going to Bitcoin and vice versa, Bitcoin to altcoins, right? That's kind of general rule of thumb of how you would be doing it. So what else do we have? How about the Gaussian channel on the weekly? We're towards the bottom part of the weekly Gaussian channel. This doesn't mean that you can't fall out of it, obviously, but interesting to note that that's where we are. So it would be cool to see, in 6 months from now, if we look back and we're like, well, it held right at the bottom after falling through it. That was the higher low. So interesting to note where we are now. The 5-day Gaussian channel has just turned green. That's half of our signals, right? You want to wait for your signal to turn green. Then you want to wait for your price action on top. And this is just another, tool and another indicator to help you make it that decisive move of, increasing your Bitcoin stack with Chainlink, increasing your link with Bitcoin. All works both ways. Wait until we get on top of the Gaussian channel, and historically that will, not just in Chainlink, pretty much any coin out there. Once your channel goes from red to green, your price action's on top, you're good to go, right? You can go look at pretty much any coin, and you know, the 5-day Gaussian, price on top, green after red, and then, you know, good things come, right? So we have half of it, we're green. Now we need the price action up here, and then we're good to go. You should be good to go. That is the odds of that happening are far greater than not happening. So that's what we're looking for Link BTC. Hopefully that helps, right? A little bit more in depth on that than we've really gone before. But you know, I had a lot of requests for Link BTC lately, and you know, what do I do if I want to increase my Bitcoin stack with Chainlink? Well, or altcoins. That's how you do it. Wait for the 21 week, the 200 week. You want your prices up, right? So how about we flip over to Chainlink versus the dollar? If you're still with me, I appreciate you. We've been going sideways more or less, but you know, we've talked about these levels for, you know, pretty much every Chainlink update. Let's get to the weekly. We're holding above the 21 week for the first time in a long time. How long? I'm glad you asked. It's way back over a year ago now, January. That was the last close, right? Closing price above the yellow 21 week EMA for Chainlink. That's it, right? We just did it. That's the first time in a year. So that's worth noting. It does nothing to, you know, go all in or anything like that, but it's worth noting that this could be the first candle that says, you know, like we said earlier, months or years from now, we'll look back and we'll see that was the sign, right? That was the sign that we're breaking back above again. Now, could we very well do something exactly like this again and just kind of this be a fake out and, you know, melt back down? Of course, right? There's no certainties in crypto, but uncertainty. We could absolutely do something like this, just like we did, you know, right back in here. Now, I'm not saying all of this is coming, but we should sure shit hope not. But could we go back down and test these lows again? Of course, right? But ideally, what we need to do is, you know, hold this 21 week for a couple weeks, right? This yellow line as it moves up, right? We need price to just kind of easy on up here, and then we need to take out this high, right? The same thing, same rule. That high, 877, right? Let's go 877 on that. We need a close above that. That would be our highest close since, you know, that candle right there. That was a while ago, right? Let's take a measured move on that. That candle right there was no days ago. Nope, doesn't work. We're trying to take a measured move. There we go. Thank you. Okay, so 273 days since since we've closed above 877. That's insane, right? 877. Who would have thunk it back in this time, right? Not many people, right? A lot of people bought up in this area and they're, you know, feisty mad now, but you'll get it back, especially if you were one of the, you know, people accumulating and during the past, you know, 6 months or so. I think you're going to do well at the next cycle. Now you have to have patience and not sell once we start take out $9 and make your $12 in profit, right? But long term, I think you're going to do well. Next target is that 200 week, right? Just like the Link BTC pair, the 200 week, I can draw, you know, crayon arrows if you need them. That's what we're looking like. The 200 week is at $10, right? $10 on that. How about the Gaussian channel? I'm glad you asked. Gaussian channel is, we're still below it, right? On the weekly, we are still below. We're looking to enter said 5-day Gaussian channel. That was the weekly. We are in the 5-day for the first time. You guessed it, in a long time. We are actually, for the first time in over a year again, we have closed a candle, a 5-day candle inside the Gaussian channel. So good things to come there. I had to check my mic this time because this is the second time I've made this video. The first one was better. So if you're like, yeah, this one's all right, but you should have seen the first one. It was at least 1% better. So we're looking at the weekly Gaussian channel to get into there. We're looking about that, you know, we have to take out that high. Then we'll be back in the 5-day Gaussian channel. The weekly Gaussian channel will be, you know, probably good things starting to happen, but we have to get back above our high that we haven't been above in, you know, 6-7 months. Now we're looking at, you know, $8, right? Where we could even draw a zone over here. Let's remove this. I'm rambling a bit. I get it. Have patience. It's Friday, right? We're looking at this zone right here. We're looking to break back in here and then break out of it, right? We have to break the 200 week. That'll be the biggest line in the sand at $10 for Chainlink. If we can do that, good things are right ahead. So that's what we're looking like. How about the indicators? Do we have any positives on the weekly indicators? The Fisher transform, right? We're going straight up on this. We got the trigger buy couple weeks ago. Now we're taking out this high, right? Good things, right? We're trying to reverse this seemingly multi-year downtrend, right? That Chainlink's been in since August of 2020, right? See that? Lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower lows, and now so far, right? Higher low, just like we looked at on the price chart. There we go. There's our high. Now we need to match that, right? It looks like we might be able to get it, but you never know. At the weekly close, we might just do something like this, and you know, Sergey sells 50 million coins again. But we'll see. Follow the price. Follow less chats. Just start learning as much as possible as you can during these times, so you're well prepared in the bull cycle and not buying the Pico top. So the weekly indicators, not much going, right? Pretty flat, pretty in the middle. We have some momentum to stochastic, right? That's cranked out a bit. That's looking okay. But the daily, let's jump down to the daily. Do we have anything there? The MFI is creeping up, right? The money flow index. That what's the difference between the RSI and the MFI, you might ask? That is volume is calculated into the MFI, so that's a good one to use for divergence, especially. We have our weekly, you know, Bitcoin hash ribbon has crossed. It has nothing to do with Chainlink, but just Bitcoin. It'll still show up just as Bitcoin down here. So if you put that in your Bitcoin chart, you can, you know, just have it to look at. I probably need to remove that. But let's back on track to Chainlink, and then we'll end this video and let you have your life back. We're stuck sideways. We're stuck sideways for months now, right? We need to break out of this zone. We've looked at that many times. Here's your closing prices. The first direction that we close out of first is likely the next direction that we will continue following for the next several weeks to months, probably months. So hopefully that is above $9, right? That's our high. If we can close above that, it should be go time, right? This 200 week is still creeping down. So depending on when we do it, you know, maybe you can drag that box out. It could be around that, you know, $8 to $9 mark once we get to it. You know, we're looking at, you know, summertime here, unless we get, you know, real frothy and start to, you know, melt to the upside. That would be great as well. I doubt anybody is still here. So if you're here this long, listen to me ramble. I'm trying to remember what I did in the first video, and it's just not there. The first video with zero sound, I did pretty damn well. This one is definitely more ramble. But you know, you get what you get. I guess for some reason it didn't record. I got one more pattern to look at if you're still here. This is the more bullish one, right? So the breakdown here, right? See this is kind of like a flagpole. Then we have this falling channel here, right? See that? It's like this is what we call you might call a bull flag. This would be a bear flag, right? So if you invert this falling channel, right? You see that, right? See this rising channel. This would be bearish. Rising channel, not good. More likely than not, much higher odds to break this way. But this is an inverted chart, remember? So the invert, right? You break to the upside. And if you're like, that doesn't play out there often, right? Well, you'd be surprised. Have you ever heard of Bitcoin? Right, I talked about this for months, that this has a potential of playing out just like this. So maybe Bitcoin's just ahead of Chainlink, right? We're looking at this falling channel, right? Ring any bells here, right? Look at this move, right? This is exactly what we want to be watching for Chainlink. So buying after it's, you know, broken out here and confirmed, right? Really that high, that was the safe, you know, really launch for Bitcoin. And we want to see the same thing with Senior Link. That is what we're watching for, and no Crayola markers, right? So you see it now, right? So Link is just lagging behind. What's new? Maybe we do something similar to that, right? You can even draw it way the hell back here. This is looking pretty good. So we want to get up in this area, and then, you know, that area and that area and that area. So that's where we want to go for Chainlink. Hopefully this video helped you at least 1%. If it did, it's worth it. If not, you know, whatever. You got your quote of the day, car of the day. I might have just, nope, I got it. I still got it. I thought I X'd it out. Lamborghini Centenario Roadster, which is right up there in that box. And it's this one. It's my favorite car of all time. No matter the price, this is about $4 or $5 million now. A little bit unattainable. Probably never, maybe I'll just hope to see one. I've never even seen one in real life, but the rear end on that diffuser is absolutely my favorite thing ever. So if you're, you know, you got a few million laying around thinking of some late Christmas gifts, I'll take that. Thanks so much for watching this long. If you have a great weekend. I'll talk to you real soon. Leave me a comment on what you want to see next.